Very welcome to all of you, and thanks for joining us for our first session with Talk with Expert. And today we are going to cover athletes' rights and duties. And I welcome Anri, Roy, and Alexander Hillhouse, who are going to be our speakers for today. Thanks, Juliana, for organizing this, and we are going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, Moshi. Thanks, guys. This is our first episode for Talk with the Expert. As Moshi explained, it's writing duties of Paralympic athletes in fight against doping. This session is going to take around 20 minutes, but as is the first session, let's see how it's going to run. I'm Juliana Soares, anti-doping officer for Virtus, World Abilitysport, and IBSA, and we are putting here all our efforts for the three IFs, the three international federations fighting against doping, working for clean sport. If you have any questions regarding this session, you can put on the chat. If you are watching this video on the YouTube channel, don't worry, you can send to us by email all the questions, okay? All the episodes we have this year are going to be on YouTube channel, so you can watch when you have time. Please share with your friends, with other athletes, because it's very important to spread the information and knowledge. And this, as I told, it's our first episode, and we have incredible guests for three IFs. So Alexander Hillhouse, representing Virtus, it's a para swimming athlete from Denmark. Anri Sakurai is a wheelchair fencing from World Abilitysport, and she's from Japan. She lives in UK, but she's from Japan. And Roy Turnham, I hope I spoken right way. It's from blind football, so it represents IBSA, and he is a British athlete. Thanks, guys, for being here and give the voice of the athletes for this session. Every month we are going to have sessions regarding some topic and incredible guests. One from an athlete, like one with Harry or one with Harry or Alexander, and one expert. This is the first session, so we have all the three athletes, but from the next video, we have just one athlete and one expert, a doctor, a pharmacist, a lawyer. So please enjoy the session and share with your friends, okay? As you could see, we have been posting our social media rights and duties information on Instagram, Facebook, and also for LinkedIn. It's very important to all the athletes know and understand their rights and duties because it's part of the process, not just the doping control process, but also for the TUI's request, a legal consequence. So it's very important to all the athletes understand their rights and duties. If you need more information, please go to our YouTube channel because we have a video from last year explain all the rights and duties, or you can go to our website and click there and education, if I'm not wrong, and you can check all the informations right. Okay. I would like to take the voice of one of incredible athletes here, Anri. Okay, she's incredible wheelchair fencing, but I do believe she can introduce herself much better than me. She's a Paralympic athlete with incredible medals on our competitions. Anri, thanks for coming. And please, the floor is yours. Could you introduce yourself and tell a little bit more about you?
Uh, Thank you, Juliana. Hello, everyone. I'm a Japanese para fencing athlete. I participated in 2020 Tokyo and 2024 Paris Olympic Games. And I had an international competition in last weekend. I got 2 gold medals, and I just came back to UK in this early morning from France. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Really, thanks. As you have been so several events, probably you have been tested several times, or maybe you request a therapeutic exception, some that really makes sense for you. Can you remember something that any right or duty that you needed to request or to use in the past years? Oops. Yeah.
Sorry, one more place. Sorry. Yeah.
No, don't worry. Could you tell us any situation, any moment that you, with your knowledge about anti-doping, you could use your rights or duties in a competition or out of competition? Any situation that it's nice to share with our other athletes to make us um, visible for everyone?
Yes, yeah. The sport is a deeply important and impressive part of my life. And doping is one of the persistent issues in our athlete career. The doping is not only undermines fair play, which is the essence of sports, but also seriously affects athlete physical and mental health, as well as their human rights. And among these, protection of all personal data is especially important to me. When I need to use prohibited substance medicine, I must apply for therapeutic, just a TOE. So throughout this process, only authorized people can access my medical specific information. But actually, Paralympic athletes often need to use medication more frequently than Olympic athletes in order to maintain their health important. So having this right is even more important. So only athletes who truly need special medication are allowed to use them, and applying for a TOE is the only way to ensure they don't test positive. And furthermore, anti-doping is not just about punishing violation. It is a comprehensive effort to protect the fairness and dignity of athletes and to maintain trust in sports as a whole. So I'm thinking while athletes are expected to have a strong self-control and ethical awareness, legal and institutional systems are also in place to protect them from being treated unfairly. Yeah, that's it.
No, I totally agree with you, Hari. Uh, I don't know how many athletes here on the seminar have tried to apply a TUI, but we have a very strictly rules to following. So just athletes that do need a TUI, they are going to grant it, to have a granted TUI. They are going to have authorization to use a medication. Can make the competition in a balancing, a right way. Also, as you told, the privacy, it's our main goal. We don't share any medical or personal information with with people that it's not part of this process. So just the administrative and the doctors know who is the athlete and the diagnosis or the medicine. So if you need to apply a TUI, don't worry. Just the right people are going to have your information. Ari, thanks so much for your words. It's very important to hear from you. And I would like to invite Roy to speak now. Hi, Roy. Um, could you please introduce yourself also? It's Roy, it's our blind football player. If not everyone knows about blind football, it's a really incredible sport. I suspect that I really like football. So football for blind athletes is incredible. It's a show. Roy, could you please introduce yourself and tell a little bit more about you?
Hi everyone. It's great to be here, and hopefully I can share some useful experience. Yes, I've played blind football for England and Great Britain since 2011, 14 years. So I've represented England and Great Britain 126 times at Paralympics, World Championships, European Championships. But actually, as a junior athlete, blind football didn't really exist very much in England. So I was on UK Athletics, the UK Athletics development squad, and that's where I first experienced education around anti-doping, because I represented Great Britain at cross country and middle distance running as a junior athlete as well. So I guess my relationship with sort of competitive sport internationally and anti-doping has been very much a long time now, maybe 30 years nearly. So it's but it's been a great journey. I'm still trying to keep going.
Yeah, really great. As I could see, you're not just a football player, but a multi-sport athlete. And it's really great. And for you, as a national athlete and international athlete, do you believe there are something regarding duties and rights of the athlete that it's the most important, that really makes sense for you?
So I know it can sound very harsh, and one of the things that you get told is that you have responsibility for everything that goes into your body, and that is something that it seems like a challenge because there's so many things to be responsible for when you're an athlete, but it is quite important to accept that responsibility. One of the things as a blind athlete is being aware of checking even things like foods and herbal teas, and knowing what is in those things. I remember doing a workshop with WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, many years ago, and they showed an example, and it was a herbal tea called Breathe Easy, and there was something in that herbal tea that was a banned substance. So one of the things for me, it's a lot easier now that we have cameras on our phones that can actually read things for you when you can't see them. But back then, I always took the advice to make sure that I got somebody to, if it was something that I'd never tried before or something that I'd had in a different country, is to make sure that I knew exactly what the ingredients were in that product, and that's a really important thing to understand, because you wouldn't want to be to fail a drugs test through not knowing, through being absolutely innocent and not trying to cheat, but taking something that was a banned substance.
Again, I'm totally with you. The strict liability that it's the athlete is, it's always responsible for any substance or metabolite found in their body. It's one of sometimes the tricky one, because sometimes for blinds or other athletes that just receive pills or any supplement for some professionals or even for some friend, it's a challenge to know what's inside of this. So as a tip that you gave, it's to use the camera to double check what is. But regarding medicines and supplements, please talk with the professional, guys. Always talk with the nutrition and a medical doctor. They can help you to get the right and safe medicine or supplement for you. And supplements, we don't have any guarantee that it's 100 clean. We have some tools that you can check if the that bachelor it's right, it's safe, but even that websites tell it's not 100 safe. So please, if you can avoid to take supplements, and if you need to use medicine, please talk with your doctor, because it's really danger, and you can get a positive test with just a herbal tea, like Roy told. Thanks, Roy. And now our paraswim athlete that was in Paris last Paralympic Games. Hi, Alex. Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure to have you here, Representative Virtus. Could you introduce yourself, telling your name, where you're from, and the last and more important competitions have you been?
Yeah, so my name is Alexander Hillhouse. I am from Denmark, was born in the United States. So that's why my English is like good, I guess, if you want to say it. So I have been to many competitions for internationally, including the Virtuous Global Games, where I won 7 medals and two-time world championship dub. So I went to two world championships in 2022, 2023, And of course, the Paralympic Games where I won the 100-meter butterfly that's 14 category, and been to Paris and have the best life experience, I guess. And now I am still working hard and training for this upcoming World Championships here in Singapore in September. And now I am part of the Virtuous Anti-Doping Ambassador. So this is going to be a huge thing to the sport. And I hope to everyone around Virtuous can learn about this. So that's from me right now.
Oh, amazing, Alex. I'm so glad to have all these ambassadors, Len, Anri, Roy, and you. You show and represent our commitment with clean sport for sure. All of you are great athletes with a totally clean past. So your history for three of you are totally clean. This is why you choose you, because we know that you believe in a clean sport and play clean. Alex, I know that you passed for some doping controls in Denmark and on Virtus events. And as you know, because you're part of our team and you studied a lot about anti-doping, can you tell us some rights and duties that make sense for you and you had used in the past, I don't know, for a doping control test or even before the competition? Do you know any rights that was important for you and you used it before for sure?
What you said before, we always do clean sport. So that's like a lot of stuff we need to make sure to remember. So doping control, it's something like it's very easy to go through, of course, if you are an athlete or if you're doing anything else. But if I'm if I'm if I'm right to say, what did you say again, Julie? I had to say.
If you remember any situation that any right or duty, for example, when you go to the doping control, sometimes you pass for interviews because I know that Moshe did some interviews with you and you need to go to the doping control to do remember any situation that, for example, you have two things happen at the same time, you need to choose. So you went first to have an interview with Moshe and after go to the doping control, something like that.
So I think it was back in Berlin. I had to do the 100-meter freestyle, and then I touched to the wall, and then I got pulled into doping control. And the reason is that they have to wait, but if you have to, like, if you have another event about like 40 minutes or half an hour, there's always going to be a person next to you to look after you to the sport because they need to keep an eye on you if you're doing anything wrong, if you are doing, I don't know what you're going to do. But I mean, I had a person next to me the entire time, and it was a very hard day that time. It's not because of the doping, but it was like I had to like swim out and they had to stay with me, and then I had to rush to the call room and I was late, and then they told me I was late because I had to do something, meeting with the call room and tell them that I have to do my race before I go to doping control. But there's always going to be a person next to you after you be selected. So there will be a random person where the paper says your name and what class you are and what sport you are, and you said they had to put you to doping control. That is basically what you have to make sure that you have to accept it. You cannot deny that. If you deny that, you get probably consequences for your sport. So make sure to look after what you're saying, and then you need to do what they say.
Love it. I love it. You totally right. And you were there in between competitions because each sport has their own schedule. And for swimming, as you explained, you have several um, pro disciplines happen at the same time. So sometimes you swim 100 meters butterfly and you have 100 meters freestyle in a short time. So we have these chaperones, and it's your duty to be with the chaperone, this guy, all the time. You gave a really great example of duty, and they need to wait for sure. You end your competition to go to the doping control. Incredible example. Thanks, Alex. Guys, you were amazing. So your contribution, it's very important for us. Just to close our our session, our first episode. I would like to check if there are any questions. Moshi, there is any questions on the chat? I don't remember. I don't think so.
I can't see any questions yet, but the floor is open, guys. So if you have any question, please either raise your hand and we'll call you to unmute your mic and ask the question directly, or you can type it in the chat box and we are going to answer.
May I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead, Rina.
First of all, thank you very much for all participants. I have a question about doping control. Maybe Alex can answer me. Can the athlete, after the ending of participation, postpone doping control regarding a graduation ceremony?
I think the question is, if you are selected for the doping control and you won a medal and you need to go to the award ceremony, should the chaperone, the doping control team, wait until the warning or not? This is the question that you did? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Roy, when you were in a competition and got a medal, which one do you go first, to the doping control or the medal ceremony?
Yeah, correct. I'm not good enough to win medals. No, yeah, as long as you've got somebody with you and observing you, if there's a media commitment or your medal ceremony, you can go and get the medal, but as long as you allow that person to chaperone you whilst doing that.
Thanks, Roy.
Thank you.
Any other question, guys?
Not yet.
Okay, so to end this session, I'm going to make quick questions and our guests are going to answer. So again, ladies first. Anri, how many times do you believe that you have been tested in the past years?
I have had a doping test of a total about 4 times. Yeah.
Do you remember any interesting situation like?
Yes. The most recent one was at the international competition in last April in Hong Kong, held at the competition venue after the final match. But it took 5 hours in total from the moment I was notified by a chaperone to the completion of the test. This was because the specific gravity of the first MyP sample was below the required standard, and retest was necessary. So because I too much drank water before the test, so I never expected a single to take such a long time. Yeah, that's it.
You're true. 5 hours is a little bit longer than usually. But yes, if it dilate the sample, we need to try at least 3 times. So guys, if you have been selected for the doping control, please don't take too much water, okay? Especially for events like in Anri, because she's a wheelchair fencing. So if it's not very hot, she's not sweat enough. So it's going to be dilated. Different from Roy that it's running all the time, so he sweats. He needs to hydrate it a lot. So be careful not to drink too much water. But 5 hours it's a little bit longer than usually. Sorry, Henry. Roy, for you, being a blind athlete sometimes put in some interesting situations, I truly believe, because I saw some interesting also. Can you tell us something that was interesting in this past years regarding anti-doping with you?
I think I don't know whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage, but there's quite you're not used to people watching you pee. But as a blind athlete, that is something that, like, I'm aware that people are there, but I don't know whether it doesn't bother me so much because I can't see that people are looking at me, and it can be quite a daunting thing to think that I have to pee and somebody has to watch me doing it. I remember the first time I got called for anti-doping. It was during a training camp, and I was asleep, and they literally, like 3-4 people knocked on my room door, and I thought I was being arrested or something, and it was a bit strange at first. But one good thing is that you always have somebody. I mean, it's quite nice for us because we have a team doctor who we know very well, and you can have your own witness there with you, and that can really help in terms of taking some of the pressure off it. I think the time, it's one of the things I would say is challenging as well is if you haven't had a very good result, and then having to answer questions and fill in forms, that can be quite a challenge sometimes. I remember losing a very important match in 2015 and then getting called for anti-doping, and people were talking to me, and I was just like, I need to take deep breaths here and just calm myself down, and just get settled so that I don't shout at anyone.
Yeah, for blind, sometimes it's a challenge to fill the forms because we are not sure if they are putting the exact information that we are telling them, and we don't know who is inside the washroom watching us during the provide the sample. So yes, you're right. Something that it's really important to make, and for the blind athletes here, remember you can have someone with you entire process, included on the washroom. For sure, they cannot see the athlete and provide the sample, but you can be there checking if the chaperone, the doping control officer, are doing the right procedure. So please, I deeply suggest you have someone with you to double check. And Alex, you are traveling around the world, competing, have been tested. Do you remember when was your first time? Have you been tested like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, something like that?
It was back in 2023. Believe it or not, that year I tested like 4 times for doping control, so that was like a ironic. So yeah, so my first test was in 2023 at Legano, Italy, where I swam to 200 freestyle and won a bronze medal at the World Series. And some guy just stopped me and said that you need to come with me for doping control. And I was like, what is that? What? Please tell me what is that is. So I took my trainer with me, and he told me the real reason why I've been pulled over. And then he said like, this is the thing you need to do with swimming. And I was like, okay, fine. All right, fine. Okay, so we went to doping control, and it was like ironic. And what Roy said, of course, like peeing in the cup and looking at you, I was like, back off, back off. But that's like the safety reason why we do this to the sport and clean sport. So I tried it, and it was quite a funny experience. And then after that, it then came another test, and then another, and then another, and then I've been like used to it. So it is kind of funny, but there's like a reason why we do it all the time.
Yeah, 4 times in a year. On the first time that you have been tested, it's quite a lot for sure, but it's part of the sport. Thanks, and thanks for telling how do you feel, because it was my second question, and you felt in a rush with 4 tests and someone watching you inside the washroom. Yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable. I know, guys. Even for us that we are looking you on the washroom, sometimes it's uncomfortable for us too. Don't worry, it's both sides. The time is running, so let's see the question here, because someone asked a question, but I cannot see Moshi.
Yeah. So Julie, Wendy has got an interesting question. So she's asking that her son is an athlete, and do athletes always take their passport with them to the sports venues so they have a photo ID, or what happens if they don't have a photo ID?
Yeah. So we need some documents with photo ID. Can be a passport, can be a normal national ID or drive license, anything that we have the photo of the person and the name. In some events, like Paralympic Games, for example, we have the accreditation, sorry, the accreditation with the photo, and this can be a validate ID. Okay. My suggestion, if the ID of the competition doesn't have the photo, please take with you the simple ID, because I know that sometimes it's hard to go to the venue with the passport. Imagine if someone lose the so important document. So take your national ID or drive license or any other photo or other document with photo. We need the photo because we need to double check if Juliana is Juliana, Moshi it's Moshi. We have, for example, in swimming virtues, we have twins, and they look like exactly the same. So it's really important for us to double check if the athlete is exactly the same athlete. Otherwise, we can test the wrong one. So, yeah. Any other questions? Because I know that my athletes need to training because it's midday for them, 1 p. So when they have schedule for competition for training. Any other questions? 1, 2. Let's finish. So, guys, thanks. Unfortunately, the time it's running and the time fly away. Uh, our next meeting is going to be this month. Okay, we have other guests join us, so please don't miss. Moshi is going to publish on our Instagram and Facebook the next session. Don't worry, don't miss. Click on the link, register yourself, and be here with us. Thanks again. Thanks much for organizing everything for this meeting. Thanks, Anri. Thanks, Roy. Thanks, Alex, for being here and share your experience with us. This has make a lot of difference for us. And just it. See you guys around.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. And in case you have any question, you can always email Juliana. Her email ID is on our website. You can email her and she can answer all your queries directly. Okay. Well, see you all in our next Talk with Experts session. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.